Okay, podcast starts now. What is up, everyone around the world, and welcome to StraightioLab, the nation's leading podcast. George, how are you?
I actually have a lot of things to say. They all concern listener feedback about our episode that we did without a guest at this point 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I think, for the record, that episode was a smash. I think it will bring us one step closer to winning a Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Kamala Harris. So write that down. But there were a few things that were noted via email, DM, Instagram comment, tweet thread even, that I would like to address.
Okay.
Number one, the fact that we could not think of a single example of counterculture in the 80s, straight counterculture in the 80s. My comment, we've heard of punk. We've both heard of punk, and we've both heard of emo. And yeah, sometimes we are so stressed out from running our own business and being LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs that maybe it doesn't come to us immediately. Maybe instead, what we're looking for is not a fact, but a punchline. And if we don't find a punchline immediately, we move on.
And I also want to add to this and say, as someone who, was in a band in Brooklyn in 2012, and, as someone who, knew a lot of Richmond punks and sort of went to house shows at a regular basis, to me, I don't see punk as exclusively 80s. Yes, of course, it was popular then, but I want to say it also started in the 70s, mama. And it kept going, and it kept going. It didn't end there. And I just want to say, maybe it's because we're both so countercultural and raw and edgy. Yeah, we didn't see it because we didn't see it as a costume.
Yeah, I don't really think... First of all, the Ramones are 70s to me, not 80s. And I'm actually not even going to look that up.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're right, but I'm also maybe now going to
We're not looking it up.
Messages.
We're not looking it up. And by the way, shut up. And also, I understand that there was a point at which punk was an authentic subculture and not just a Ramones t-shirt that is sold at Urban Outfitters. But guess what? Where's the footage? And don't point me to any of the countless documentaries about punk that are all bad, because I'm not interested.
Well, and I want to say I read the book Please Kill Me when I first moved to New York City, so I could get sort of an understanding of what it was like to, see New York before every single store was the Gap. And so I know exactly what the hell is going on. So please don't lecture me. And I also want to say, I found it interesting. George texted me when the fallout was happening and said, are you getting all these messages about punk? And I said, no, I have not received a single.
It's interesting. It's interesting that people think they can talk back to me, but they're somehow afraid of you. Or maybe they think I was doming you. People are obsessed with holding me accountable in a way that is, it's like, shut up. I have flaws too. Just because I speak in a completely, in a confident and condescending tone at all hours of the day doesn't mean I can't make mistakes.
It was so funny. I find it so interesting that I feel like people are 90% more likely to message you about anything that's annoying.
Well, they're stricter with me. Yeah. They're stricter with me, and they also think that the tone is very much, and tell Sam too.
Yeah. Well, I think, they know that I'm sort of this, I'm in my flowy clothes. I'm sort of out in the fields, sort of dancing to the music in my head. And they know that I'm, the odds of me being on my phone are so slim because I'm so in the moment that they're like, you're my keeper in a way.
Right. But you know what else? I think that it's very clear that my personality is such that I would care more about being wrong on mic. Like my insecurities are more pronounced maybe than yours. I feel like if we each said the same incorrect thing on mic, I would be more nervous about it than you. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I think that is accurate. I also think it could literally be the thing I know the most about, and I'd be like, I could be wrong. There's something about my tone that implies but I could be wrong.
And of course there's something about, it's like we're doing this thing where we pretend to know more than we actually do, and then to have such a moment of complete a complete flub, if you will, to not be able to think about the concept of punk. is humbling. But I know that we're running along on this intro, so I want to say one more thing, which is
we're not running along.
We're not running long. Okay, it's only been
completely
90
on
seconds.
time. Yeah.
Here's the thing. The other thing that happened with that episode, which I'm horrified by and still making amends, is, you know, we both made fun of Gregory's coffee and made fun of the logo being a sort of guy with hipster glasses. Little did we know two things. A, that man is the Greek American entrepreneur who started Gregory's Coffee. It is a drawing of a Greek businessman that I was so brazenly pushing aside. And B, the glasses are also mugs, and it's a little joke. And each glass is a mug, and it's two mugs together. And the fact that I saw that and I said, cliche, stupid, boring, flop, get out of my face. And meanwhile, it was literally an optical illusion akin to the rabbit and the old lady. And I didn't even notice it.
No. I'm not going to say we didn't notice it. It's clearly coffee cups.
Well, guess what? Of course, now that I see it, I'd notice it. But if you were to, at that point, be like, what is the logo of Gregory's Coffee? I would have been like, I don't know, a guy with glasses. Would you have known it was without looking at it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's glasses and they're coffee cups. Like,
okay, fine.
It still doesn't it doesn't take away from the fact that the glasses are in the style of, like,
of course.
2011 hipster glasses.
And if anything, the coffee mugs, if anything, make it more quote unquote cringe. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
But that doesn't take away from the fact that I was literally attacking another Greek American entrepreneur live on air.
No, you were showing love to the Greek entrepreneur by asking him to do better. You were showing that you believe Greek Americans can have a coffee shop that transcends the 2011 hipster culture and still be for all. And I think your ability to push Greek Americans to their highest and best self, yeah, it borders on abusive, but that's okay because you are getting the good work out of them.
And guess what? At the end of the day, we had both gone to his establishment that day. We had both given him our money, regardless of whether or not we found his art to be derivative.
Yeah. And even he was the person that worked there, like, forgot about me and offered to give me a free pastry. And I said, no, you sell that to someone because I don't need it.
Yeah. And because the pastries look bad.
They do look bad.
They do look bad.
They were not looking appealing.
And also, by the way, and you know what? Actually, now I'm mad at him again because if you know, okay, you're a Greek American entrepreneur, sell some Greek pastries. Why are you trying to assimilate? I didn't see any spanakopita in there. I didn't see any sort of like, you know, maybe a honey-based pistachio type thing, something with a little flair, a little Mediterranean flair. I saw, you know, scones. I saw croissants. I saw, you know, a little sad little sandwich.
Yeah, he is to Greek entrepreneurs as Pete Buttigieg is to gay guys. You know, it's like you're hiding yourself. Let it out.
Yeah, even honestly, his attachment to like the glasses and that hipster image. It's like, why not? Why don't you have a full Greek mustache in the image? Why are you trying to be someone you're not?
It's sad, actually.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
It's pathetic, and I'm glad you spoke up because he needs to be, you know, called in.
Yeah, and so in some ways I wish him the best, and in other ways I'm fucking furious. Having said that,
I think we should bring in our guest. And
I agree.
I want to say before we bring in our guest that I was just in LA and I actually stayed with our guest, and it was the most lovely stay of my entire life. And I actually felt there was both. I stayed in with two people, and our guest was one of them. And both times I literally felt like their teen son. I was really giving teen son vibes the whole time. Like, there was a point where our guest was like someone was coming over to the house and she was like, could you actually clean up your clothes? And I was like, totally. But I have a good excuse, and as soon as we bring them in, I will explain everything.
Wow.
So without further ado, please welcome back to the podcast, Greta Titelman.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, I have a few things that I need to say very quickly.
Please.
And then we can get into when I did tell Sam to clean his room. Number one, the Ramones 1970s, that is correct. Just off the bat.
Nice. Thank you.
Number two, I had no clue that the Gregory's coffee guy had coffee cups as glasses. I had no idea.
I mean, when you see it, you're like, oh, sure. It's not like, it's not super sophisticated. But when you think, when I'm like, okay, imagine what the logo looks like, your mind doesn't go to the coffee cups.
No, it goes to that mop of hair. And I would just like to give a little shout out to their vegan lemon pound cake, an excellent pastry.
Wow.
But now that I know that it's owned by a Greek man, I have to say, I do agree with you, George. It's like, give us a Greek coffee at least. Like, give us like one hat tip.
Totally.
It doesn't need to be the whole
And by the way,
menu.
lemon poppy seed, I mean, you can at least add a little twist, like lemon poppy seed, I don't know, that you serve with a sort of a Greek jam or fruit jam or something. Like, lemon poppy seed is such a non-Greek flavor profile.
I have 3 words for you. Olive oil cake.
And say that.
That's it, babe. We've solved the problem.
And say that for the people in the back of the Greek Orthodox Church, because they need to hear it.
Yeah. Olive oil cake. That's it. That's all we need. And then and guess what? That transcends culture,
It's true.
But Sam,
Olive oil cake transcends culture. I think even a spinach, again, something with spinach in it. It can even be a nod to spanakopita. It doesn't have to be a spanakopita. It can be just like a spinach puff pastry of any kind. I'm just saying, there's no reason to leave. Yes, we're a melting pot in this beautiful country, but we're also, as my teacher used to say, a salad bowl. And you don't need to melt your own identity away to coexist with others.
Simply toss it, toss it in with the big tongs is what I have to say. Now, Sam.
Yes.
Let's address the elephant in the room. Our famous fight.
So, okay. So my excuse that I wanted to share with you was that I'm okay. First off, I had just done Club Comic, and those clothes don't breathe. Let me tell you that. And sometimes I do this thing where I put them in the bag and zip the bag up and then don't touch them for a month. And you open that bag up and it is nasty. And so I was sort of just laying the clothes every which way to sort of get them to air out before I packed them up for good. And that's why... That's why my clothes are everywhere.
Kind of strewn about the room to sort of get little stinker to be less little stinker.
A little less stinker, yeah. Because, little stinker is a mindset. It's not always necessarily so literal.
Yeah.
And so I was really trying to air those clothes out. But then it was like, oh, of course... Of course it's going to look insane.
But I want to play devil's advocate for a second. It's like, well, if you're laying them out in a sort of intentional airing out way,
yeah,
Greta, if I were you, I would look at that and I would sort of understand maybe that's what was happening. Like, I think you would have to sort of interpret it in bad faith to look at that and be like, wow, he must be so messy that this is how he lays out his clothes. Did it cross your mind?
I understood what was going on. I attended the fabulous event that was Club Comic. So I recognized the clothes. I knew what was happening. But here's the thing. We're currently selling our house. So the new buyers of our home were coming here. And, it's like when you go to buy a new pair of Prada shoes, do you want to see the store filled with boxes and shit all over the place? No. Do you just want to see the
Okay.
nice shoes presented to you? Yes. You know what I mean? Are you still going to buy the shoes?
So I didn't realize
Yes.
it was the new buyers.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
That does add a layer of drama that I don't think I fully understood.
Oh,
And
yes.
I want to say Greta was so respectful. It wasn't a sort of like, it wasn't like pick up your stuff.
Yeah.
It was more like, and yeah, if you could pick up your clothes a bit. And I was like, of course. Of course. And she told me the context, and I knew the context.
I did make Sam pick up the clothes on all fours and only use his mouth.
Yeah. Which was tough because I was wearing a ball gag as well.
And it was also tough because you were rock hard the whole time in front of the new buyers.
Of course.
Now, Sam, I do have a question for you, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess it's a two-part question. How many times at this point have you performed Club Comic this time around?
This was my third time.
And have any of those clothes been dry cleaned and or washed?
Oh my God, George. That is a crazy question. The answer is hard no.
So because I'm hearing sort of stories about you potentially zipping them up in a bag, opening it up a month later, then opening it up, putting on the show again in another city, and then leaving them in your host's living room while her new buyers come in the house.
No, it's my bedroom, thank you.
It's painting a picture that really is, if anything, more, you're saying Lil Stinka is a state of mind rather than a literal thing. It sounds pretty literal.
Wow, I can't believe I'm being attacked this way. I will say, okay, one of the jackets was quite sweaty.
Yeah.
But
I know
the other
exactly which jacket you're talking about, honey. That big, black, fiery trench coat. There is no way that is like a boxer's trash bag that they wear to sweat out to make weight.
It was crazy. And this time I wore different pants than normal, and they were like literally snow pants. And it was like I was sweating like wild. But George, counterpoint, if I wash the clothes, then how will I sell them on the internet for a lot of cash?
Well, okay. First of all, I think that you can sell, I think that as long as they have been worn once at one Club Comic show, they can be sold for a lot of cash. I don't think people are paying quantity over quality on that one. I don't think you're going to
3 times.
You think you're going to get more money if you've worn them 5 times than if you've worn them once?
Oh yeah, people are going to get real horny for that.
I guess that's true.
I think that if someone is desperately wanting to buy Little Stinker's stink clothes, they want them to be as stinky as humanly possible.
Of course.
You want to know the nastiest part?
Yes.
I do.
Okay, so my first iterations of the show were pre-pandemic, and I have a mesh tank top that I always have worn that I have never once washed.
Sam.
The white one?
Sam.
The white one.
How is it still white? How is it not like pitted out egg yolk yellow?
I also think there's a chance I have tried that on when we did our cover shoot for this podcast and we were trying on different outfits.
Well, you didn't even notice.
Honestly, putting on someone's sweaty clothes whilst still moist to me is more intimate than sex.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like it's interesting that this doesn't come up more because I feel like Sam, like I'm very neurotic about cleanliness, almost to a fault, I would say. Like I'm constant. It's like I'll shower. I also, because I'm a hairy Greek man, like I do smell just more than, it's like I'll shower and then within 2 hours I'll already feel like I'm too smelly or whatever. So I'm very like nervous about that. And then Sam, of course, your whole backstory is a little stinka. But here's my question to you. Do you feel trapped by that identity?
Sometimes I'm like, well, it's not like one, I actually have, I feel like since that has started, I actually do shower more.
Sure.
Mostly because I started working out more regularly. And so it was like, now it's just like, I work out, I shower, I work out,
Who started that? You did. Or was it an insult that was thrown at you and then you reclaimed it?
I think I started it. I don't remember being insulted with it.
I feel like you started it.
Yeah.
Because it's like the words "lol" and "stinker." It sounds like something only Sam would come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it was a self-starter. But but yeah, now I am like, okay, well, I'm not trying to be like, it's more like it was just like a funny phrase, and now I'm like, I'm not trying to be like literally known for being stinky.
Sure. But then sometimes I'll be like, I'll say something like about deodorant or something, and you'll be like, no. Like, not about you. I would never be like, you should put on deodorant. But like, if like, I'll be like, oh no, I forgot, we're on vacation. Oh no, I forgot my deodorant. And you'll be like, whatever, who needs it?
Well, it's true. You're on
so
vacation.
in that sense, it is very much part of your identity.
Yeah. Well, I do think I'll wear deodorant when it's like, if I'm doing like a shoot or something where I'm like, I know I'm going to be like, one, trying on other people's clothes, two, like having to be, anytime I'm supposed to be professional in theory, I'll like do it. But then it's like, but if I'm on vacay, who cares?
That is so funny. Literally, if I accidentally forget to put on deodorant and I'm out of the house, I go to a CVS and purchase a travel size deodorant and put it on in the bathroom.
Wow. Greta, what are your thoughts on deodorant? Go.
I too am in the camp of being scared that I smell.
It's like one of my biggest fears.
I mean, to me, like bad breath and smelling, it's mortifying. Like I can't deal with that. That being said, well, okay. One time I hooked up with a guy and he told me that I, quote, smelled okay, which like was actually one of the most mortifying things anyone's ever said to me in my life. And that has always fucked me up. And I always think too that like women, especially when we're teenage girls, we get obsessed with this idea that our vaginas just like reek. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even though they absolutely do not. But when you're young, you're like, I'm going to stink like vagina or whatever. So I think there's a lot of compounded scent complexes on me that I deal with. But I would just like to say, similar to Sam, I fall into dirty girl camp. Like I am not, guess what? I don't shower every day. Okay. I'm just going to put it out there. I do what we like to call a whore's bath, I wash my vagina, I wash my pits, I wash my crack every day. But sometimes, guess what? I don't fully submerge. And, I think that's European and chic of me, to be honest with you. My skin stays moisturized longer. And ain't nothing that a little spritz of Byredo perfume can't fix, okay? And
I have to say,
that's what I'm going to say about that.
I violently disagree with this analysis. And I will, in your defense, Greta, I've never in my life been around you and smelled anything but a gorgeous, stunning Parisian woman on her way to have a spritz.
Thank you.
However, I've heard this from a lot of American people that it's more European not to shower, but strangely, I've only heard it from American people. It's like American people being like, yeah, I'm European because I don't shower. I've never heard a European person be like, oh yeah, I don't shower. It's very like...
Well, that's because it's lived in. That's because
Right.
It's culture that's been around for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. They don't think to mention it there.
No.
Yeah, we don't say like, oh, I'm getting McDonald's today because it's just assumed we eat McDonald's daily.
Facts,
you know what I mean?
You know?
Right.
I also think too, it's like, to me, it's the same thing of like, if you have a friend that smokes cigarettes, you're like, oh, she's European. You know what I mean? Like, oh, whatever, like European, like smoke cigarettes, chic when you're European, So I think it's like might fall under that umbrella as well. Like, I'm not showering because I'm nasty. I'm not showering because I'm actually extremely educated and culturally more of a Francophile. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Wait, did you have a point to this, George, before I...
No. I was going to say my famous joke that I don't like mayonnaise because I'm white. I like it because I'm a Francophile. But please keep going.
That's very good.
That.
I do love that.
That's good. Good job.
What about, I love it when people say that they And my Abe does this. He says he doesn't like mayonnaise, but he likes aioli.
No, that's such bullshit.
No, I
It's
feel
the
the exact
same
same way. Aioli has
thing.
flavor in it. Aioli has flavor in it.
Wait, so you feel like Abe?
Yeah, I
Sam?
feel like Abe. When there's a Chipotle aioli, I'm like, well, now we're talking.
But if
I mean,
someone's like,
sure,
if
it
someone's like
adds-
just mayonnaise, you're like, yuck.
I'm like, pig.
Oh, please.
I want to say people in LA, when Greta and I walk around, one assume I'm her husband constantly. One literally they assume I'm Abe, and also they assume like, and if they don't know Abe, they just assume we are
Yes.
together. And it was so weird to be perceived as straight for such an extended period of time.
Well, for LA standards, you're like Mask.
Yeah.
yeah.
Say
They would
that.
like cast you on The Bachelor there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sam gets street cast to be on The Bachelor. They're like, we see you with this gorgeous, dirty blonde girl. Literally dirty, not dirty blonde as in
Dirty,
hair
filthy.
color.
Yeah, filthy. She smells bad,
Yeah.
but she's hot and she has something.
Yeah.
We want to see her on screen.
Yeah. Put
This is
both of
lightning
them
in a
on
bottle.
screen. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, well.
Wow. Should we do our first segment?
Let's do our first segment because let me tell you something. I am ready to dive into our topic afterwards.
Well, Greta, our first segment is called Straight Shooters, and in this segment, we ask you a series of rapid-fire questions to judge your familiarity with and complicity in straight culture. It's this thing or this other thing, and the rule is you can't ask any follow-up questions, or we will yell at the top of our lungs for help.
Okay.
Sam, that's the best you've ever done at introducing the segment.
Thank you. I felt like, I just felt like I needed rest, and once I had some rest, I was able to really hit it hard.
Yeah.
Greta, are you ready?
I'm dying. I'm throbbing on the edge of my seat.
Ooh.
George, kick us off, if you will.
Okay. Greta Titelman.
Yes.
The Search for Extraterrestrial Life or The Church of Latter-day Saints?
The Search for Extraterrestrial Life.
True. Okay, Greta. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, or FKA Twigs, Tears in the Club?
FKA Twigs, Tears in the Club.
Correct. Greta. Kyle XY or Jamie XX?
Jamie XX.
Wow. Greta. Corn dog or horn dog?
Horn dog.
Greta. Being a moralizing scold or having a humanizing cold?
Being immoralizing scold or having a humanizing cold?
Correct. A cold that humanizes you.
Was that a question?
Or a scold that immoralizes me?
No,
You're
that
asking questions.
First of all, Greta, you're asking literally upwards of 15 questions. But because I'm feeling nice and because I'm feeling kind and because you hosted my dear friend Sam, I will say that it is being a moralizing scold, like someone who's like
Okay, I
scolding
see.
about moral matters.
About moral matters. Okay. I'm gonna say having a humanizing cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Reese Witherspoon or Reese without her spoon?
I think honestly, I think I'm gonna go with Reese without her spoon.
Yeah, I'd like to see her without her spoon because
Yeah.
guess what? I'll say this about. Well, let me do a last one, and then I have more to say about Reese without her spoon. Greta, checking your baggage at the door or roasting a cabbage because you're working on your core?
Roasting a cabbage because I'm working on my core.
Okay, I have one more too.
Okay.
Okay, Greta, a free and fair election or a wet and wild military takeover?
Definitely a wet and wild military. No, definitely a free and fair election, Sam. Come on.
Yeah.
Free and fair election.
Okay, no one wants to have fun anymore.
That was a gotcha. Sam, you knew that Greta would be so taken with the idea of something being wet and wild that you thought she was going to
Yeah.
be pro-military. But she said, no, sweetheart. I know that a free and fair election trumps a military intervention.
Don't try and use your wet and wild witchcraft on me, honey. It's not going to work today. Okay?
I do want to say, though, about Reese without her spoon, like, I would genuinely like to see more performances where it's Reese without her spoon. Because Greta, for context, Sam and I just watched Wild, which is really one of my all-time favorite movies and one of the all-time Reese Witherspoon performances. And yes, she's great in it, but I think she could be even more without her spoon in that film.
You do? At what points? I mean, you've already discussed this on the pod, I'm sure, but...
No, it's okay. Well, it was a Patreon exclusive, so I'm more than happy to tease some of it here on a free app.
Please do. Tease a little bit. Tease a little away.
Sam made the point that with Reese Witherspoon, there are always times when you are aware that you're watching Reese Witherspoon, like the way she speaks, the way she, the cadence of her sentences, and even in Wild, even though she is so clearly lost in the character of a woman taking a hike, sometimes you're like, well, it's Reese Witherspoon taking a hike.
Right. Here's my question:
Yeah.
Because I find a lot of Reese and her contemporaries, Jennifer Aniston, I'll even toss Anne Hathaway in there, even though she's younger. Yeah. But of the Reese contemporaries, of the people in that Reese stratosphere of stardom, who do you think really falls away? Who's an actress that you watch and you're like, I don't even clock that they are them? Because when I watch Jennifer Aniston act, for example, I always think to myself, oh, I'm watching Jennifer Aniston act.
That's Jennifer Aniston.
Right. But
even though she is a comedic genius.
Of
and
course,
that can't be denied.
Beyond. I'm not
But she is still Jennifer Aniston.
By the way, let's not conflate clocking that they're the actress with them being a bad actress.
With them being a good... that is so true, Greta. That is so true.
Yeah.
Because guess who... You know who the first person I'm thinking of is? Charlize Theron. I'm like...
George, I was going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't tell if it's ignorance or truth.
But I'm trying to think, yes, she disappears into her roles. Am I still aware that I'm watching Charlize?
I think that Monster is an example. That was a movie. And I think the reason why we were all so holy shit. I did not see Charlize in that movie at all. Not a fucking
No, that's true.
Peep. But that's why she won the Oscar for it, because there was not
Of course.
a
But I will
moment.
say in that film, she was wearing full face, not prosthetics, but she fully had a different face in that movie, which does help with disappearing into the role.
It's tough because I do think that
it is.
I think that younger, because the job has just gotten different and we have less and less movie stars. It's just become more niche pockets of entertainment and less monoculture-y throughout time. I think that our version of movie stars now are fewer and further between than the Reese generation, where we're watching these people I don't know, when I see Anne Hathaway act, I'm like, it's Anne Hathaway and I'm watching her act.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I have a good one.
Oh,
but
good.
she might
Please.
be younger. I might be wrong here, but I kind of feel like Amanda Seyfried is inching.
That's a good one. I don't know what Amanda Seyfried's real personality is. I couldn't even pin down her voice.
And I think that's why it's helpful.
It's kind of tough.
I think that's why it's helpful because we don't know who she is. I feel the same way about Cate Blanchett in some ways. I'm kind of
I think Cate Blanchett does disappear. I think that when I'm watching Tar, I'm like, that's Lydia Tar. That's not Cate Blanchett. When I'm watching
Notes on a Scandal, one of my faves of all time, I'm like, this is that person, not Cate Blanchett.
I mean, I once, when I was working with our dear friend Matt Rogers, our rap gift to him was a T-shirt that said, "You want to fuck me, Barbara?" which is one of the lines that Cate Blanchett says in Notes on a Scandal.
A T-shirt which Matt Rogers wears all the time.
Yes, I'm aware.
Wow.
I wonder, Rachel Weisz.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I would say because she's done a good job of keeping her personal life out of the tabloids, so I can step up to whatever she's putting forth.
This is hard. Whenever it gets into actress territory, I get sweaty. I get a little it's a little bit I wish I had a list of names to pull from. Not that I don't know. It's just I feel like I'm being quizzed in a way where it's I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the quiz.
I feel like as long as I've known you, it has been one of your insecurities.
It is. It's a blind spot, and it's like a spot where I'm like, it's not that I don't know these people, but like conjuring them, it's like hard to remember all
like
the
the
names.
recall when you're like trying to.
It's not a passion of yours.
It's not a huge passion.
But before me now running the podcast, before we move on to the topic, I just want to say one more thing.
Please run the podcast.
You know what gen of actress girlies I think are really fucked and can never disappear into the role ever? It's all the Disney divas. And I feel for them. You know, it's the Hilary Duffs, it's the Miley Cyruses, it's the Lindsay Lohans. It's like that kind of generation where I'm just like, or it's the girls from Pretty Little Liars, it's the CW family, it's that, you know?
Yeah. Well, they're hired to be that, I feel. They're like supposed to just be like, my friend's in this movie. And you're never supposed to feel like they're losing themselves in the role.
Right. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the only actress of that generation that managed truly by the skin of her teeth to achieve superstardom was Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like, she is a movie star. She is the only movie star of that caliber, like of the sort of, you know, I don't know, of the Sandra Bullock caliber of that generation, right? I mean, maybe Emma Stone. But Emma Stone.
Margot Robbie.
But Margot Robbie, I feel like the doubts, everyone has their doubts with Margot.
She's queen. I love that Margot.
She's good.
Margot, if you're listening, I want to be friends. I feel like we'd really get along. I have a pool now. You can come for a dip.
No,
I think if you wanted to befriend Margot Robbie, you could.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's definitely our biggest listener. She was the one that was DMing George nonstop about the punk thing.
Yeah, she was like really stupid faggot, stupid ass. Well, shall we get into our topic?
Let's do it.
I'm scared that it's not going to be a popular one.
No, it's going to be really good. You know what I'm nervous about? And can I just say, because I'm so comfortable talking to you and because I feel like very, there's a sort of happy hour, middle of the, or like late in the workday happy hour energy. I keep having to remind myself that I have to be on. I keep being like, oh my God, you're supposed to be entertaining right now.
I literally keep like taking a back seat. I mean, this is when I get sleepy. This is when I get sleepy in the day.
I guess
is it
getting
me?
sleepy.
Is it me?
No, it is not you at all.
Oh my God, it could never be you.
It is literally like I feel so comfortable that I'm actually sort of shocked and offended that no waiter has come to my office to say, would you like the daily sour cocktail or the daily sweet, or wait, what is it? Sour, bitter, or the daily bitter cocktail?
Bars do that? I've never heard of this.
Me either.
Well, Romans does it in Fort Greene.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah.
Wow.
It's sort of their fun thing. You go there and they say, we have a daily bitter cocktail and a daily sour cocktail.
What do you choose?
Huh. Well, I love that. Yeah, what do you choose?
I usually do bitter.
I was going to say,
what would you guys choose?
I would choose bitter.
I would choose bitter.
There's something about bitter that feels more, not more adult, but more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Sour, it's like, okay, what do you want, a Sour Patch Kid?
Well, also sour makes me think more like tangy, which makes me think it'll be a little syrupy.
Totally.
Whereas bitter feels like it'll be more like a real cocktail.
Yeah, like stronger. Like bitter, you're like, sour, you're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I'd rather
that's such a subtle difference.
take a sip and be like, then like, you know?
Yeah. No, that's bitter is, and sour is.
Exactly.
Such
you
a good
know
point.
what I'm saying.
That is such a good point.
Yeah.
That's so genius.
It is.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
George, do you want to do your bitter and sour face?
Well, bitter for me is more, whereas sour is a little more.
Wow. And you did the sour pucker.
I did sour pucker.
That was such a different read. I find that so amazing.
That was gorgeous.
Do you find that, I find that as I get older, you would think I would care less about a drink being perfect because it's like, I have moved on to other things. I have, multiple children with multiple partners. I am raising them. We are applying for private schools. However, I have found that the older I get, the more in a childlike way, I'm like, if this fucking daily bitter cocktail is not to my liking, I will flip out.
I
couldn't agree more.
The way that as I get older, I couldn't agree more. I am on the verge of a breakdown at every single moment, specifically around food and drink.
Me too.
If the food and the drink is not right, I'm ready to freak out.
I almost had a meltdown with Sam because Sam and I had been talking. We were like, we want a gorgeous martini. And guess what? I know people are not going to believe this. Los Angeles, the town, has some fabulous places for martinis here. Okay. So I'm like, we're going to get a martini. And I list to Sam my spots for us to get martinis. And
there were many options.
And we settled on one because I was like, you know what? Great bar to sit at. Yummy little snacky foods, a little French, a little gorgeous martini. Perfect. We show up. Restaurant closed. Okay.
It was closed. It was closed.
The restaurant was closed?
Yes.
The restaurant was permanently closed.
For like kitchen work or something like that. But my friend, and I had a conversation with my dear friend Ian, who is literally plugged into the scene of Los Angeles. He didn't even know that this place was closed for renovation. So then I panic, okay? Because I'm like, now we need the fucking martini. Because now I'm obsessed.
And so you went somewhere where, I see. And you went somewhere that you had not confirmed had good martinis. Is that what happened?
We went somewhere that I knew had a good bar situation.
Right.
But honey, you can have a good bar situation and not know how to make a fucking martini, okay?
It's true.
And I got very nervous. But to our pleasure, the martini was good. Was the martini amazing? Were my fucking tits blowing off my body to this martini? No. Did we enjoy our martinis?
No.
Did we sit and eat adequate fries and crab cakes? Yes. But I will say it had me on edge. I was like spiraling out.
No, it brings you back to this childlike state where you're like ready to basically break down in tears if your toy is not the right one.
Correct.
Oh, and it also was just like, I could feel Greta feeling the pressure of being like, I need to show Sam a great night in Los Angeles. And that pressure was like really getting to her, and I was then sort of being the one that's like, it's okay.
Yeah,
and it was
Sam
like,
coached me through it. Sam coached me through it because we got to the next place and I was like, let's leave. And Sam was like, you know what? We're already sitting. Hostess thinks we're on a date. Hostess fully thinks we're about to fuck. And
let's not ruin it for her.
No,
she wants us to fuck.
Let's not ruin the illusion of perfection, So we had our drink, we had our little food, and then we went back to the bar where there was just a bar, no food, had another great little martini, and then went to Akbar where Sam got recognized for this podcast. So honestly, everything worked out.
Well, if you're not going to get recognized at Akbar, then
we have problems,
what are you doing this for?
Yes.
We fully have a problem.
Yeah, it was actually an incredible night, and even the moment of danger at the beginning, I think, only added to the joy.
Of course. And the thing with the thing with being dissatisfied with a drink is, the three of us are enlightened people who know that it's not the server's fault and it's not the waitstaff's fault.
No.
Our lives would be so much easier if we were the type of people that would react violently towards a service worker, because you would at least get that anger out.
Yeah.
Which is why I've always said this. Everyone should have access to the CEO of a company when they want to make a complaint, because then you can be as angry as you want with no guilt about it, because the CEO is still going to make billions and billions of dollars. If when I was sad because my, Verizon internet wasn't working, if I could talk to the CEO of Verizon and, take a cup of my own piss and pour it on his head, that would literally be a better feeling than fixing my internet.
I agree.
Yeah. Wow. I totally agree. Well then, okay, now we should get into the topic.
Okay. So Greta, we would love to know, A, what the topic you brought tonight is, and B, what about it you find straight?
Okay, so the topic that I'm bringing today is jersey knit sheets, okay? Specifically, the fabric jersey knit. If you're unfamiliar, it is sort of that worn, soft, stretchy, cottony fabric, found a lot in college dorm rooms across the country. It is supremely soft. It's giving you that pre-wash feel. It's warm. It's snuggly. Okay. It is wrinkle free. And I mean, can't get a wrinkle in it for the life of it because there's fucking no natural fiber in there. And it's, to me, it is sort of a cornerstone for developing straight men, I would say. But I'll also put it on some women, some straight women as well. But I just think that jersey knit, it's comfortable. It's, as we discussed before starting the pod, it is function over form. And I kind of think that being straight as a whole, kind of the thesis to being straight is function over form, And I kind of think jersey knit sheets sort of encompass that.
I think placing it in a college setting is really apt, because I was like, what is my experience with jersey sheets? And it's like, oh, I had them in college.
And they're always a dark color.
I was or what I wanted.
They're always a dark color.
Well,
navy, brown, black. And when you get cum on it, Lord help you. Lord help you.
A dark color sheet is so cursed to me.
It's
Sheets
wretched and disgusting. No, it is actually, you're hiding something. You are hiding something. It's
exactly.
not sexy.
And it's also this shortcut to like something you think of from this very like 80s and 90s mindset. You think of it as more sophisticated because it's like more sexy because it's black and it's more manly or something, and it's more like bachelor patty, but all you're doing is showing your ass and showing that you have no taste.
I do find it a little bit sexy in the 90s like businessman way. Like if I were to go over to some guy's house and he had those sheets, as a costume, I would be like, this is hot. Like I would be like, this I can get into mentally, but I would never have them in my own home.
And if you had dark sheets, it would be like, and again, this is equally embarrassing, but it would be a sort of like expensive, like silk, like
it would be
navy
sexy fabric or something. Or it would be just your duvet. It would be just the top, like to sleep kind of enrobed, engulfed in dark fabric.
No.
It's bound to give you a bad dream. I mean, it's demonic. Let's just say it. It's demonic.
It's demonic. Yes.
It's of the devil.
I mean, nothing is worse than a burgundy sheet. Sorry. Had to say it.
Burgundy?
A burgundy sheet.
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
You're hiding blood, honey.
A burgundy. And then do you feel like when we were in college, another sort of trend at the time was like t-shirt, when people would be like, it's t-shirt fabric, t-shirt sheets.
That's jersey knit. That is jersey knit.
That's jersey knit.
But that's like, that was such a big, it was like, I mean, it was a sort of a game changer that to be advertised as like, well, your most comfortable worn in t-shirt, why would you not sleep in that? Why would you not want your whole body to be enveloped in that?
Okay.
And it's like, well, because there's a place and time.
Yeah. And
sheet comfort is complicated.
Yes.
Because it is like, you don't want to go for the jersey knit, but there is like, but then you do get into like 1,000 thread count or whatever. And it's like, okay, so we want it to be comfortable, but what is the right kind of comfort?
See, I want my bed to be slightly uncomfortable. I want my bed to remind me I'm mere mortal. Okay. I want to get into my bed. I want the sheets to be stiff. I want the bed to be cold. I want it to feel clean and cold. And I want to feel like I'm the stinky little worm in the hole. You know what I mean? I don't want it to feel like I'm in a cocoon of comfort. No.
Because, and what you're describing is the orgasmic pleasure of a hotel bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
A hotel bed is never going to have t-shirt sheets. That would be disgusting. If
sick.
I walked into a hotel and it had t-shirt sheets, I would ask for my money back and call in a bomb threat. because
Yeah.
they need to be put out of business.
Yes, they do. I mean, t-shirt sheets over the age of 25, you're on the watch list, honey. Okay, let me just put it to you that way.
No, but you are
Wow.
so right about the stiffness. Like when I'm trying to get into my bed, it should be a struggle.
Yes.
The sheet should be like deep under the
Yes.
mattress.
So
I should
tight.
be using both hands to pry the bed open.
Correct.
To attempt to put myself in.
And you can't really, you know what I mean? You can't really, you're
Yeah.
still fighting. And then you get in the bed and then you're twisting yourself to get yourself in the comfortable position. And then honestly, the reason why you fall
Yeah.
asleep is exhaustion from fighting the bed.
Exactly. Exhaustion from fighting the bed, and then of course the pure weight of
Yes.
the
Duvet.
the heavy
Yes.
mound of blankets that is over you.
Yeah.
I find sheet design to be exhausting. I find like
Oh my God,
I actually
yes.
feel like when it's like, okay, I want new sheets, it's like, okay, what the hell are we gonna do now? Because it's like anything you get has so many implications.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you put that on your bed? Like, you love it that much? Like, even, like, you can go in the, like, Brooklinen route and you have, like, this tasteful little gray grid. And it's like, sure, that's nice. But it's like, but now everyone knows I went the Brooklinen route and have this tasteful little gray grid.
Can I tell you something? Brooklinen is the worst sheets I have ever purchased in my life.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I would agree. I would agree.
And it is shocking because I don't have the level of cynicism I should about direct-to-consumer bed-specific things. Like, I have had a Casper mattress that I've been happy with. I've had other sheets that I've been happy with that are direct-to-consumer. Brooklinen is literally made of, like, tissue paper.
It's not good.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. It's not good.
It's not good. And guess what? You know where you should buy sheets? Literally, like, LL Bean, the Vermont Country Store, whatever that place is called. Like these, there are classic mid-price options for a reason.
You know where you can go? You can literally, if you want the best bedding section, go to Bloomingdale's. Do yourself a favor. Go to Bloomingdale's. You have a million options, even though I think there should be less options. I agree. But like a million different price points, a million different brands that aren't fucking Brooklinen. I will say direct to consumer, Parachute isn't bad. Parachute is better than Brooklinen. But I do agree, like, there's just too much. And it's like cotton, linen, mixed, sateen, jersey, silk. Like, and then it's like, then we get into thread counts and then we get into fucking Euro shams, standard shams. Like, and it's just like, honey, my head's popping off.
Right.
I literally want government issued military sheets. And I want everyone that walks into my home to know I didn't pick these out. These were government standard.
Yeah.
And I am actually threatened that I have to use them.
I think what is so something that is so straight about Jersey knit is that, you know, someone sort of looked at all these options and they were like, oh, well, you need to be a housewife to have time to sift through all of these. We're going to make it easy. This is like a t-shirt. Like
You know
the messaging of this is like a t-shirt is so targeted to men that can't be bothered to go to Bloomingdale's third floor where the bedding is.
Or it's like, it's to me, it's the perpetuation of, I'm going to say it and people are going to get mad at me, mother to son coddling. That is what a Jersey knit sheet is. It's like,
wow.
It's that, you know, don't worry, baby, I will get you your sheets for college. They're Jersey knit. It's like you're in your big favorite, you know, University of Michigan t-shirt. And guess what? You get to wrap yourself up in it every night. And guess what? You can just bring it home and I'll wash it for you once a goddamn semester.
Wow, that is actually so smart. That is really what they are.
And because
they're mommy buying it for her son,
and because they don't get wrinkly, because it's not like a sustainable, it's literally just a fucking t-shirt. Like your bed can always kind of look clean.
Right.
I want to say something, and that's that, like, even on the basis of like it's like a t-shirt that's inherently good, I think this like thing with t-shirts is like they're not like the most comfortable things all the time.
I completely agree.
People, people fetishize t-shirts like, oh, my old t-shirt. Like, just want to be in my old t-shirt. And it's like, most of my t-shirts are like scratchy, unless you're like throwing coin at like a fancy t-shirt. They're made shittily and like are uncomfortable. Like, American Apparel is dead, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like, the soft t-shirt is over. So when people say t-shirt to mean comfort, I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back to of course it goes back to the traditional family unit and the division between public and private, because in public, you are wearing a suit, you are wearing khakis, you are wearing a tie, and you're wearing loafers. And then when you're finally out of work, you have finally pressed the button that's going to bomb some country. You get back home and then you can finally relax. That's when you're going to wear the old University of Michigan t-shirt. So it's more that it symbolizes the private sphere and that kind of comfort, rather than that it literally is comfortable on your skin.
Wow. You're 100% right.
That's very wise. I also think that like jersey knit t-shirt culture at large to me is also very straight, because like, you know,
well, it's giving Heather Gray.
Yes, and Heather Gray, as we know, is the straightest color to ever exist.
It really is. Like, it's sometimes I'll see it and I'll almost gasp.
Yeah, I mean, I personally do not participate in any heathered. I have an aversion to heathered anything. Remember that heathered purple American Apparel made really famous?
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah.
No, heathered color. Yeah. It's very much the V-neck. It was the official V-neck color.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. And it's tough. It's a tough look. I just think that the concept of, you know, let's take this sweatshirt and make it my bed. To me, it's lazy. You know, it's lazy. It's
Absolutely.
actually not innovative. Some might be thinking, oh, well, isn't it so innovative that we just took t-shirts and made it huge and wrapped it around our mattresses? It's like, no, actually, do you know what's innovative is like a batiqued raw silk that's been spread across a frame that's now I am uncomfortably sinking beneath at the amangiri.
Yeah. And you know what's innovative is a variety of throw pillows in different shapes and sizes, each of which is dressed in a different texture.
Correct.
So that you are playing with both texture and shape.
Yes.
But I also think what you're saying about there's a sort of pseudoscience element of it. Like, oh, look what we did. We invented this new fabric that's more comfortable and wrinkle-free. And I think pretending that there is technology in clothing is a very straight thing too. It reminds me of like work pants that are stretch fabric with zippers and that can also turn into shorts. It's like bike to work pants. It's all
it's like stain-proof.
Tech and clothing drives me crazy.
Stain-proof Dockers, sweat-wicking polo shirts. It's all. I'm sorry. It's all to mask being yucky. And again, let's not conflate being a little stinker with being yucky. Okay, because those are two different things.
Those are two different
And by
things.
the way, you know, not to attack women, but this doesn't end at straight men, because you know what else is part of this? Jeggings.
Oh, for sure.
Like like jeggings, or a sort of like, you know, like
it's a duplicitous
one of
thing.
those like jackets that is also a scarf, an infinity scarf. Are you kidding me? Get a normal scarf.
Yeah.
Get a normal scarf. You know what? The version that makes me the most mad actually is like tech underwear. Like when people are like, look how it bends perfectly, or like your balls go in this part where your dick goes in this part. And it's like, everyone stop it.
Yes.
Like, wearing underwear isn't gay. You can just wear underwear. Like, it is like this desperation to be like, oh, I'm doing this because technically it really lifts and helps, and like the sweat and I'm like, shut up, just wear underwear. It's fine.
Don't you think all of this is rooted in like both insecurity and like one, insecurity by being like, look at this cool underwear that I have that does all of this stuff. It's like, what? Like, you can't just feel confident and special in yourself wearing normal fucking underwear. But also it's like, it's like people just not wanting to admit that they don't want to get dressed in the morning in normal, in like fucking real fucking clothes. Because like to me, jeggings is the same thing as wearing sweatpants, but it's masking itself as a jean. But we all know it's a legging, and it's like, honey, you're not fooling anyone. Just commit to either wearing a legging or wearing a jean, a denim. And
completely. Mm-hmm. It's so much more dignified to show up to a business meeting in full exercise clothes, and the people there will assume like, oh, she's about to go to a SoulCycle class after. That's fine. Like that's part of her day, and she didn't have time to change. It is so much more dignified to do that than to wear some sort of like athleisure look that is meant to be like both business and workout.
I agree. And honestly, it goes back to another topic I pitched, indecision. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things. It's like, you just can't decide. So what did you do?
Yeah.
You made your fucking bed a t-shirt.
No, you're absolutely right, Greta.
Wow.
And also this like, I'm trying to find the right way to phrase this, but it's like trying to fix things that don't need fixing.
Correct.
Or reinventing something rather than just being like, is there something more like, if I don't like my sheets, maybe I should just buy slightly nicer sheets. I don't have to reinvent the concept of sheets and make them a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of it's like not trusting like art. It's like being like, well, is this good? And they're like, well, why is it good? And it's like, well, you're just supposed to sort of feel it and trust and like understand that it's good. And they're like, no, I need to know the qualifications for why it is good.
Oh, don't get me started. Everyone's a scientist all of a sudden.
Oh, everyone's a scientist.
Can I also say that let it be known, I don't want people thinking that like I was always, nose up to jersey knit. If you don't think I begged my mother for jersey knit sheets when I was leaving for college, you're out of your mind, honey. I wanted jersey knit sheets because all of my friends had jersey knit sheets, and I would sleep at my friend's house. I would sleep over at my friends' houses, and they would have jersey knit sheets. And I would think to myself, my God, like how comfy is this? But then my mom was just like, absolutely not. She laid down the hammer. She was like, you'll get sweaty beyond. It's too comfy. You're going to get too settled in that bed. Next thing
you'll get complacent.
Yes, you will get complacent. Exactly. Next thing
I'm a businesswoman.
By the way,
I am a businesswoman.
That's what a lot of the, and we're not even talking about like toxic hustle culture here. We're talking like, you need to take control of your own life. And you can't do that if you're sleeping on a giant t-shirt.
No, you literally can't. Your life, this is honestly a message to any adults listening to this, sleeping on jersey knit sheets. You are not in control of your life.
No.
Wow.
And I think the fetishization of comfort too is a straight thing.
Yes. Everyone's obsessed with being comfortable. Look how comfortable this is. Sit on this chair. Isn't it so comfortable? Sit in my car. Isn't it so comfortable? I don't want it to be. Yeah,
next thing you know, you're going to be wearing Allbirds sneakers.
Correct.
Oh, don't even get me started. It's also like, if you can be a little bit comfortable with uncomfort, like the way that you will move through this world.
Exactly.
That's the key to success.
With so much grace.
It's the key to success.
Just be okay with a little bit of uncomfort.
Fun. Guess what? Have fun being comfortable. I'll be building character in my sleep every night.
And I have a breakdown when I get the wrong drink, but that's okay because I've been being uncomfortable all damn day, and this is my one comfort, and I'm allowed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we think that some of our greatest minds, like Lady Gaga, is sleeping in jersey knit sheets? No.
Can you please? Maybe when she's preparing to play Lady Joker because she's in character as the Joker.
Exactly. Oh my God, that's so funny. Gaga sleeps on jersey knit sheets to prepare for her role as Lady Joker.
Stupid.
She probably does.
Lady Joker. She probably does. She probably does more fucked up shit.
And they're covered in blood too.
They're burgundy.
Is that what you want to be, listener? I don't think so. And they're burgundy, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I kind of think we covered it.
Yeah.
What else could we possibly say? the heights we reached.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I really think there's a whole episode to be had about technology and clothing. Like, I really think, and I actually think technology and clothing is also related to things like cronuts, like trying to once again like invent something new for the sake of inventing something new, as though a donut and a croissant aren't both literal perfect pastries. And I think it all goes back to, I mean, it basically goes back to the destruction of the middle class and the end of connoisseurship, because all these, if you want to basically, you want to be a connoisseur about something, you want to be knowledgeable about something, it should be like high art. It should be art, it should be ballet, it should be the opera. But when you can't afford those things, then you are forced to develop strong opinions about cronuts and about t-shirt sheets.
But don't you think, bear with me here, don't you think that the payoff with a cronut is greater than the payoff with technology and clothes? Because
well, 100%.
Like, you at least get to have this gorgeous sensory experience of the pastry in your mouth, of being like, wow, like this donut mixed with croissant, like amazing. Oh my God. And you have this moment where I think what I find particularly laughable about like tech in clothing is the amount of people that buy it and the percentage of people in that amount that actually are utilizing whatever that tech may be.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very true. It's like bike to work. Like 90% of people that buy bike to work pants are not biking to work.
Right. Or it's
honey, I mean, I'm wearing Carhartt and I ain't never done.
And you're never gonna. Yeah.
But I also think about people that wear like literally like wicking fabrics to their offices. I'm like, doll, you're not running a Tough Mudder. Like, what? You're sitting at your desk. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I know. It doesn't make sense. And it's like going to the gym. Yes, that's a time and a place. You're getting sweaty. I get it. But like, to just be in it day to day, wearing like techie clothes day to day, just to move about the world as is, it's like, we used to do this naked, you know?
Yeah.
We didn't need
We used
tech.
to do this naked. Yeah. No, it's so true.
Damn.
So sad.
Really makes you think. Really makes you think.
We gotta get this country back on track. We gotta get everyone working naked again so they can really see what their clothes are bringing to them.
Naked, no showers, no deodorant, no comfort, just sleeping on rocks.
Spartan lifestyle. Let's go.
No martinis, honey.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't take it that far.
Not even at 6 p.m.? I think let's do our final seg.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Oh, life is short. Why not?
Life is short. Greta, our final segment is called Shoutouts. And in this segment, it's in homage to the grand street tradition of the radio shoutout. And we just give a shout out to anything that we enjoy. So imagine it's 2001, you're at TRL shouting out to your squad back home about anything that you like. And I actually have one and I'm ready to go, if that's okay.
Okay, go.
What's up, freaks, losers, and lovers? I want to give a huge shout out to the Before Blank series. Before Midnight, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset. Not in that order. But I watched 2 of these movies on the way to Los Angeles, California, where movies are made. And I was so obsessed with them. And I was like, oh my God, I have been meaning to see these movies for so long, and now I'm seeing them, and I love them. Talk about straight movies. I mean, it's just one guy, one girl, and the power of love. But it is so grounded and so emotional, and I found myself so deeply moved. And I watched Before Midnight last night to finish off the trilogy. My ass is crying. These movies are so good. I couldn't believe it. Ethan Hawke's great, but Julie Delpy's to die for. And I actually stan Richard Linklater, I think. I think it's safe to say that. I think it does make me think so much about time and about life and about relationships. And he's like the only bitch really doing it. I can't believe this guy. So shout out to the Before Blank trilogy. If you haven't seen it, I recommend. And if you have seen it, then thank you for welcoming me into your life. I love you all. XOXO, Sam.
Woo! Love
Wow.
that.
Wow, Sam, it's such a 180 from your whole theory about how everything is boyhood now and that's bad.
Well, it's not that it's bad, it's that it's ripping him off, actually.
It's ripping him off.
They took what worked at boyhood and sort of bastardized it. Because I
Yeah.
do think, even watching this, I'm like, no, this is, when done like grounded and thoughtfully, this is so interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
To like actually look at time. But the way that people are, honestly, this made me even think more that everything is boyhood, because this works so well. And then you watch like Top Gun Maverick and they're trying to make it boyhood and be like, look how much time has passed. And I feel just emptiness, and I feel no heart and no soul. And so it sucks that people are manipulating it.
I know. And guess what? Don't get me started about Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
Uh-oh, everything is boyhood.
Everything is boyhood.
Is it going to hurt? Or do you think it'll be good?
I say that with
gonna
all
hurt.
the
It's
love
gonna hurt.
in my heart.
Oh.
That family should stay in Chicago. There's no reason for them to go to Greece.
Yeah.
There's
That's
nothing
too
for
bad.
there's nothing for them there potentially.
It's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Okay, I can. You know what? I have a shout out. What's up, freaks and geeks out there? That's right. The show from Judd Apatow that was canceled too early. Justice for freaks and geeks. Make it boyhood and bring it back. But guess what? That's not my shout out. My shout out is, guess what? That's right. Everyone knows I was laid off from a website that shuttered recently, and everyone knows that we are in the midst of a writer's strike. That amounts to very little work for old George, and that means finding things to do in the most expensive city in the world that are free and or cheap. And let me tell you something, I have just the thing for you. Have you heard of art galleries? Have you heard of gallery hopping? Have you heard of the app Seesaw, which lists every gallery in your city and then has a little editor's pick section where they can tell you which ones the editors pick? Have you heard of opening a New Yorker and going to the art section, seeing what is in the section called At the Galleries? And then have you heard going into your closet, putting on your most insane outfit and going alone, so people think you're an art buyer, from gallery to gallery, wearing head to toe vintage Comme des Garçons and looking at a series of mixed media works. And guess what? At the end, you can go to a bar and you can get a martini. Guess how much that whole entire day cost? The cost of a martini.
I love that. That's amazing.
What a beautiful shout out.
Gorgeous shout out.
I'm telling you.
I love that. Perfect
It
day.
really is. And I've always, I sort of, it's one of those things where it's like once a month I'll sort of remember about galleries and I'll be like, how fun. I can just go, go in and out, and I'll like find out about an artist I've never heard of and whatever. And then sometimes you stumble into genius.
And I love
that.
the phrase once a month, sentence. Once a month you'll remember about galleries.
Yeah.
Just once a month.
Because I'm not in the art world. I'm not in the art world. It's not a big part of my life.
Small
And I'm
part of your life.
certainly not purchasing any of the art.
Oh God, no. And not because you don't have the money.
No.
No.
And you know what? Oh my God, of course. Just to
Sam,
be clear,
don't even
it is a
say
choice.
that.
Of course, because the art isn't at the quality that you
No, exactly.
want.
It's because I believe the global art market is a fucking joke. But it's just like, you have these options in your head. You're like, okay, I could go to a restaurant. I could go to a bar. I could go to the park. What about a gallery?
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, should I do mine? Is it because I feel like
Yeah.
this is supposed to be about something like in straight culture, correct?
No.
Oh, no,
It can be.
no.
This is the connection to straight culture is just that it is a
form.
radio shout out. So the form is a very straight form.
Oh my God, it's anything I like at the moment right now.
Yes. Yeah. It can be
Oh.
truly anything.
My God.
The other week I shouted out shrimp.
Okay, I was gonna shout out potato chips, but
You should.
okay, I will. You know what? I'm just going to say, hey, all you losers and freaks and absolute sickos out there. I just want to shout out potato chips, okay? Potato chips, guess what? they're always there for you and they're always good. You can rely on them. They are dependable. They are also at your fingertips everywhere you turn, not just in this country, but in every other country in the world. You have access to a potato chip. They are global and they hit the fucking spot, okay? If I'm grumpy, they brighten my day. If I'm hungover, they cure me. If I'm in an emergency on the verge of a hunger meltdown on the highway and I have to stop at a fucking gas station, they are there waiting for me. They are crunchy, they are fresh, they are never stale. And guess what? They come in a million different flavors, so I never get sick of them, okay? They're salty, they're delicious, they're perfect, they're potato chips. And you know what? That's the platform I'm running on. That is what unifies us as a people, potato chips. Woo!
No, that's so beautiful. I actually was on a road trip recently and stopped and was a little hungry, but it wasn't quite lunchtime yet. And I picked up Flamin' Hot Cheetos. And ooh, baby, I was in heaven.
Yeah.
And just like that.
I love, I know this is almost like there's something about this that feels very like internet culture and dumb, but when other countries have different flavors of chips
it's so
that
fun.
they don't have here, I live for it.
Oregano. I love the oregano chips in Greece. Delicious.
Oregano chips in Greece, I was about to say. It's so, I mean, I grew up on those. It's like,
Ketchup chips in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I might go get a little pack of Cape Cods right now.
Let's do that. Delicious, crunchy,
like
kettle
that.
cooked. Mwah.
Well, Greta, thank you so much for being back on the podcast. This has been an absolute delight.
Thank you so much for having me. I had, as expected, the most fabulous time of my life.
And Greta, I hope you have a gorgeous sleep in your rigid, solid, rock hard sheets tonight.
Thank you. I will. I hope to wake up with back pain.
All right. Well, see you at Art Basel.
Bye.